All right. Hello and welcome to this episode of Boomer and Degen. I'm your host Biz, coming at you live with co-founder Andy of Crypto Hub HQ. How's it going, Andy? How's your day? How's
Yeah, good.
your neck of the
Good,
woods?
good. No, it's all good. It's all good. But we'll get into it. There's a lot
Yeah.
to get into.
Wait. Well, before we do, apologies for that. I was busy with the mechanic earlier, so no car troubles, but we were installing a hitch because I gotta make a big move next week. But still work in progress. Anyways, um, life is keep tracking on. So that's all I can say. Never a dull moment.
No.
Cool. But how was the market though? I didn't have a chance to check a look, but I did notice a nice little bounce.
Yeah, what I like about our stream is that you're forever the optimist, and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm the grumpy old git, and you're the kind of, yeah, let's fucking go. Yes, there's been a bounce, but let's get into the market. Market health. Obviously, the day is down, the 4 hours are down, the 1 hour is recovering a bit because of this little bounce. But let's see what happened. So I've been banging on about could
Yeah.
be and what the fuck, right? And we literally almost went down to could be. So we should probably change that to is be instead of could be. Yes, we're getting a rise up, but if you go to the 15-minute chart, we have this trend line that you remember on here
Hmm.
that was going all the way up here. And we really got to get above that. At the moment, it's been rejected around that trend line. Trend lines are not an exact science; it's more a little range around a trend line.
Hmm.
So at the moment, we've got that. I've got a little alert set down here. Should it get further rejected, I'll move that up so we might hit us during the stream. Um, so yes, but there's a very interesting thing here because, and I observed this morning, and I was like, "Ooh, that's very interesting." So normally, when you get, say, a 8% drop in BTC in
Hmm.
one day, how much do the alts drop by?
Well,
Usually.
you usually at least if it drops 8, you're looking at like a 15-16% drop.
Yep. Okay. And here's the big surprise. So we actually didn't
Two.
do too bad yesterday.
Oh.
Although it says 20 in total, we ended the day with only a one less than 1% drop in the overall thing, whereas BTC from start to finish had a 5% drop from open to close. So the alts, although they dropped, recovered a lot better. So that's kind of interesting. Total three, however, dropped more, as you can see in the body of this candle. So the top eight, take away Bitcoin and Ethereum. So like if you include the top eight, they pulled back a lot more, like a lot more than the rest of the alts. So that's kind of very, very interesting, right? What does that mean in terms of moving forward? Not sure. It means that I think the alts have already gone down 80, 90%, right?
Yeah.
So that there comes a point where people are saying, well, hey, the alts must have bottomed out. And so to get some quick profits, I'm going to go into the alts as Bitcoin starts to come away from this bottom at some point, whenever that was. Let's go to the 15-minute. That was at 3 o'clock in the morning for me. They said, right, let's jump into the alts and let's see if we can get a much more profit, like 20-30% out of an alt.
Hmm.
Um, as opposed to 1.5-2% out of Bitcoin. Um, but yeah, that was very, very interesting. If we go to here, our altcoin season hasn't has it gone up to? I'm going to say, let me just yeah, it's gone up to just 29. However, the fear and greed index has dropped all the way to 20. We are on the verge of extreme fear,
Yeah.
and with good reason, right? So now what I've noticed today is a lot of the streams are saying don't panic, it was just a fake out, and the reverse of that could be don't take this bounce as a recovery. Do you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Because we're way down now. We're way down below, looking very likely again. We're being rejected by this trend line. For me to start getting optimistic that the bull market is continuing. By the way, I still think we're in a bull market. I have let's where was it? Plan B. Yeah, periodic reminder. It said 2016, 2017 bull market, which current bull market mimics, had approx 30% dips on the way up. You have to get rid of the tourists, right? So, so yes, it is. And then I think he put here, uh, if we see a V-shaped recovery after this dip next week or so, then that confirms that we are still in a bull market.
Hmm.
Bull markets are full of 20-30% dips followed by V-shaped recoveries. So I think that I'm still bullish long term. I just don't think it's yet,
Yeah.
you know.
What
And in any event, it's going to take
what's
time.
the drawdown right now from the top?
Oh, it's from the top. The max we've gone down is 25%.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, not unusual. So we could see a situation where we go up for a bit and then come down for a bit and then continue up, right? Who knows, right? Who knows? Um, but that's all just power for the course. I know that the degens want everything now and they want everything to shoot up and everything's fantastic, but that's not how this cycle is working. And so I think we've got a full year. All this year is part of the bull cycle.
Yeah.
And again, from a trading point of view, we don't really care. But in terms of if you're holding for the long term, then you do care. You do care. I know that coins like Solana, Sol USDT, I go on to here, that's had a
Okay.
slight recovery. That went down to what 130. That
Hmm.
130 that I had an alert on, it went down to there. And when you start thinking about the top of Solana, which was at nearly 300,
Hmm.
right? That's a major pullback, right?
Yeah.
That's like 56, 55% pullback. And so, yeah, I mean, it's the large caps have really melted. I've not looked at XRP actually today. Like, so XRP, yeah, XRP hasn't really recovered yet, has it?
No.
Um, it's still down here. So that again from its top, that it went all the way down there, 48%, 39%, massive dips, right? Now it means if you're a believer in the long-term market for the rest of the year, then this is a buying opportunity. And when I say it's a buying opportunity, if Bitcoin does dip down another 10% as part of a standard correction, you'll be in less of a loss than if you'd have bought it up here at 338. You
Hmm.
know, so the pain won't be as much if it does dip, or you could just DC it in. You don't need to buy it all today.
Yeah. Real.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Just DC it in. I don't know what that box is doing there, but yeah, if I go back to Bitcoin here and back to the 15-minute, we're kind of being rejected by that trend line at the moment. And what I've noticed actually is, and I don't know if you've noticed this, Biz, during my day, the price of Bitcoin tends to rise.
Hmm.
During my night, when the Americans are trading, it goes down.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a pattern that I wake up to a massive. The tank starts happening before I go to sleep, so the Americans have already opened, and then when I wake up, we've had a go down and then a slight recovery as Asia starts to open. But yes, I think that's a pattern. So maybe we will get a bit of relief, and then if we are going to go down a leg down, that's going to be later today, or we could just go into a range for a few days. Everybody take a bit of a rest. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? We certainly did that here for a long time. Like nearly 2 weeks, we stayed up at this range here. We kept going on about how that POCs were just holding everything, right? But now we've broken down well below, looking very likely again, and we've almost hit could be. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we break down below could be. Whether we get to what the fuck, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But again, we've still been having lots of trades coming in, Biz. News-wise, I don't think I have anything else. I think this might have been, oh yeah, that was one from yesterday. But yeah, I just wanted to show this plan B saying what you all worrying for, longer term, we're still in a good place.
Mhm.
I mean, if we really break down, then, then we break down. Yesterday, if I'd have been sort of in the UK, I would have been shorting during my trading day, all day, right?
Yeah.
Just shorting. So that's that. Unless you've got anything to add, I'm going to move on to what I'm calling a tale of two trades.
Okay, let's hear it.
So today I decided to do a bit of trading. I've got to do some programming this afternoon, but I decided to do a trade, and I had a losing trade and a winning trade.
Okay.
And I just want to show you this. So this was my losing trade. So I had got this in tier. I'd got this trend line on here, and I was looking at. We'd got some alerts in on tier.
Yeah.
It was rising fast, falling less.
Yeah.
And that suddenly started to flip. So what I did was I went, well, okay, this trend line here, we've got this. I'm going to set this trade up. And if it comes back into this, it tends to go beneath the trend line a little bit, right? So I'm going to go in at some point. And I went in on the recovery, not on the recovery, when it came back in here.
Okay.
I went back in. Bitcoin started to rise at this point, and I thought, oh, that's really good, right? So maybe we're going to get to the point where I can raise my stop, and then all of a sudden,
it dropped.
Literally all of a sudden, it tanked, and I got taken out, right? And I'm glad I did, because if you look down here was the liquidation. Had I not had a stop loss, I was doing 20x. That would have been my liquidation point. So so part of the trade, you would have been like, oh my God, I'm 60% down to my liquidation point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you'd still be in a loss now if you'd not set a stop loss.
Yeah.
So it's possible that this coin flips back to rising fast, falling less. If I'm on the 5-minute chart, if I move this down to the 5-minute chart, Bitcoin, you can see that it's kind of maybe rising more now than falling less. Who knows? Anyway, the flip side of that was the losing trade. And the reason why I don't care that you have a losing trade is that when you set your trade up, you've got to say, well, if what's the thesis here? The thesis is that it may go beneath this trend line a little bit. It's been going its own way from Bitcoin for a while. But if this trend line really breaks down, that's where my thesis fails. So that's where my stop should be. And that's why I lowered from 30x down to 20x, so I could have a slightly bigger stop loss without losing as much, right? But that's the losing trade. However, the winning trade was this one, Varna. And what happens is, again, I put these trend lines on. It seemed to be obeying these trend lines.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, it's coming down here. And I was watching Bitcoin, and this was at about this point here this morning, about 11:45. So I had a feeling you were going to be late. And I went in.
Just for you.
It came back. Say that again, sorry.
I said just for you. It's just so you can get this one in here.
Yeah, just for me. So it came into here, and Varna was in some of our alerts actually just around that time, as going its own way and rising fast, falling less, bullish FVGs, that kind of stuff, right? Going their own way. Varna, that was at 12:30, which was about this exact time, right? Around this time, just after the trade started. And I set my profit target beneath the trend line.
Nice.
And as you can see, that's 6.65%.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that that is say 120, 130%, right? So a really nice trade. So you've got to, if you don't trade, if you're scared of getting losses, you won't get the wins.
Yeah.
And this win far outweighs the loss I had.
Yeah.
Are you with me?
Absolutely.
So Same
Well,
thesis, same.
good job on riding that out to like and setting it like right below the trend line.
Yeah, I try. I like to think that what if it doesn't? They don't always quite get to the trend
No,
line,
you're
right?
right. You're right. So it's
So
good to set it a little below
it
it.
could have taken some time to do it, but it created this big fair value gap and it just shot through me, shot through my target at that point. Then had a retrace,
Mhm.
and now it's retracing again, as you can see. But so that was the tale of two trades. You get your thesis in place, you understand where your idea breaks down.
Yeah.
That's where your risk is. Then once you've got understand your risk, that determines either how much you put into the trade or what your leverage is, and so that you're not losing much if it goes against you. But again, same as this, you're doing a good amount if it goes for you, right?
Hmm.
So as long as your wins are bigger than your losses, all good, right? It's a marathon. I just look at it on a monthly basis. Have I earned money on the month? Things like that, right? So that's all I care about, really. So that's the tale of two trades for me today. I'm not sure if I'll trade again this afternoon. I've got a lot of coding to do on a dashboard today.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. How's the inheritance vault coming along? Or
well,
is it a
that's the
vault? Is
that.
it a vault? No, it's not a vault no more, right?
No, it's not a vault. It's a smart wallet. It is in the sense of what you used to know as a vault.
Hmm.
But what you can do now is, if you have a valuable NFT, say like a Bored Ape, you can that will be the vault effectively,
Okay.
without you
Okay.
losing ownership, of that vault of that Bored Ape, right? You
Yeah.
keep the ownership and everything, but the inheritance that has a smart wallet in it. You can put assets in it, and should you pass away, then the Bored Ape gets transferred to your beneficiary, and everything inside that smart wallet is owned by the Bored Ape, so everything goes with it, right?
Yeah.
So so
Basically, what you're saying is that you can turn any NFT into a smart wallet.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you can't turn it into a smart wallet. You can make it own a smart wallet.
Okay, make it own a smart wallet. Okay.
Yeah, that smart wallet's owner is in this example the Bored Ape, right?
Yeah.
Or the Pudgy Penguin or whatever it is, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And then you can put like ERC20 stuff inside there, like ETH and shit like that, right? And to protect them, right, they're in there. And then should you die, the beneficiary can then inherit them from you.
Yeah.
So, because what happens is you've heard many stories where people die and nobody's got the private keys to be able to get
Yeah.
access to
Yeah.
their assets.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
so
But
that's what
also,
this protects.
it's not like this never happened either. But people actually misplace their seed phrase and all that kind of stuff. So this could serve as like a backup in case you lose it. That
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
you could do
that's just
that.
negligence. But look, it happens.
Yeah, I mean, this service allows you to put in place a quorum of sentinels. I think I mentioned this yesterday, that even if your beneficiary, let's say it's husband and wife, and they both pass away tragically, then the sentinels can, as part of a quorum, vote for who is the new beneficiary. Um, so you could do that. You could have it as a way of protecting against losing your private keys, I guess. Do you know what I mean?
Horrible, horrible.
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
do that as long as you don't lose those private keys as well.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, right now, what are we just waiting until North Korea rinses whatever they have, launder the rest of their.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the next hack, or the next announcement that's going to take the market down, because we're in very, very, very uncertain times. I
Yeah,
know that Trump's announced these tariffs on Europe now. Believe you me, Europe will reciprocate. You
but they
know,
can't though, because they
of course they
export a
can.
lot. They export a lot. They rely a lot on the American economy. But the problem is that they don't take in from America. They give out.
In less. This is this weird thing that Trump has in his head when he says there's a deficit. There isn't. The deficit is not like a net that Europe or other countries are ripping you off. It's that they trade with you more than you trade with them.
Hmm.
So there's a deficit within the trade,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
there's no real loss to America,
No,
you know.
no,
And if and what
they probably
you
make
know,
it up in other ways.
and again he said, they don't buy our cars. Why would they when they've got German cars? Do you know what I mean? Why the
Yo, I'll
fuck
tell
would
you what, it used to be, well, I would say, American cars used to lag the other countries, but I would say they've been stepping up as of late.
Well, I live in Asia, Biz, and the Asian EV market is, Teslas are dying. The stock is down, sales are down massively in
Hmm.
Europe. Everybody's abandoning their Teslas. But the Chinese EVs are really coming up. I'm not sure how smart all of this stuff is long term for the States.
Hmm.
The other countries, I think, will all be fine, to be honest. I
Yeah,
really do. You know,
yeah.
including Europe. Europe's going to end up with their own army. I mean, it's been coming for decades, right? We've been saying for a long time that Europe is just looking for an excuse to start the European army. And I think they will do that now because they can't rely on the states anymore. Um, that will create lots of trade, right, in terms of weaponry and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I think it's and allegiances are changing. Canada are moving to, one of the things that's interesting, and I think I mentioned this before. We have the what do we call it in England now? When we gave up the empire, we created not colonies. There's a word for it. But Canada has the same king, our king, right?
Yeah,
Australia.
it's the Royals, isn't it?
No,
Royals.
no, there's a word for it, and I don't know why, but it's gone out of my head. Um, but it's not colony. It'll come to me by the time we finish this stream. But now they're looking to do like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, UK are looking to put together this CANZUK, right? Canada, New Zealand, Australia, UK as a trading bloc, right? So
And US, right?
not US. It's just
I thought
called
I thought they
CANZUK.
were I thought they were
No,
already in there.
no,
And then they were,
no,
yeah, no. It's called the Five
no.
Eyes, isn't it?
No, it's called CANZUK,
Okay, okay, okay.
CANZUK. Yeah. Uh, the A is for Canada and Australia, right? So
Okay,
CA
gotcha, gotcha.
NZ UK, New Zealand UK. So they're looking to try put that together. BRICS is growing like crazy, right? And Europe at some point, the UK is not a part of Europe anymore, but Europe at some point are going to have to start doing some sort of similar alliances because they can't rely upon the United States anymore, or certainly not for the next 4 years.
Hmm.
By the time the next 4 years has come, who knows where we'll be, right? If all this ramps up, or whether Trump just is just using, and this is very possible, right? Although it's costing people jobs and it's costing people lots of money, Trump could just be using threats of tariffs to try as a negotiating ploy, right?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
come to give him a little bit